Welcome to this second video in the GFPOP GUI tutorial series. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to upload your own data and also some of the random data generation options. So on this home screen there's a little spot right here to upload rather your data. So you can go ahead and find your data and upload it. And so one thing about this data, it needs to be a CSV file. A tab delineated file actually will work as well, but I recommend CSV. And then it should only have two columns. So I'm assuming you've pre-processed this data so that it only has two columns. And the first column is its location on the x-axis. So in this case, this is data from spiking neurons. So the x-axis is time in milliseconds. And the y-axis is whatever output you have. In this case, electric charge from the neuron. So I've uploaded that data. It looks right here, so I can move to the Analysis tab. And there we see my data. And I suspect that this data will work pretty well with an up-down graph. So I can go to generate a default graph and do an up-down one. And I think maybe we need to be a little more stringent here. So a penalty of 25. Especially with the number of data points I have. So I'm going to go ahead and run GFPOP. So here's my up-down graph. And we see that this worked pretty well. And I can zoom in here and see where exactly my change points were predicted. And then from there, edit the graph as needed to get the constraint that I think is proper here. So that's one option for your data. But let's say you don't have data right now, or for whatever reason you want to simulate some new data. That's where these data generation options come in on the home screen. So the first thing you can see is you can modify the number of data points that you would generate when you press this button. The next thing is you can modify the sigma, so how far apart those points are. So with a sigma of 1, for example, I'll generate and show you on this Analysis tab. Here it is. But I can change that to a sigma of 2, or I can change it to a sigma of, I think it's more dramatic if I change it to 0.1 or something, and see these are now very close together. So there's our sigma. We can also change the number of change points. So let's say I want 8 change points, and I can also specify what means I want those change points to have. So maybe I want them to alternate between 1 and 5, each of these 8. And I can generate again, and we'll see that we now have 8 change points going between 1 and 5. The next option is this E. So we'll see, you can see here how I actually determine the sequence, the range of the sequence. And here's that E right there. So this describes the space between change points. So for example, I could make this smaller and generate. And we'll see that that makes most of the change points happen at the last bit of this data. Or conversely, I could make this a little bigger, and then they're going to happen closer to the beginning. So that's that option. And then we have gamma as well. So I can generate with different gammas. And you see gamma needs to be between 0 and 1. So I tried to make it 5, but that doesn't work. So I can do gamma, and you can see that changes the gamma of our data generation. There's one, and then there's different types. So you can generate variance, and it changes the spread of the data a little bit. So this would respond best to a variance cost model, is the idea. So yeah, here are our data generation options, and I think that's about it. So in this tutorial we talked about uploading your own data, and then generating some random data to play with. All right, thanks.